Hello, I'm Kim Ross. I'm a self-care advocate for micro business owners. Are you organisationally challenged? I am, totally 100%. I love to write, so I have pieces of paper, I have books, I have notepads, I have Trello boards and blogs and articles, and there are words from here to there, as Dr. Zeus would probably say. And I also believe in my heart about the consistency of processes. I read the E-Myth and I totally buy into the fact that having a consistent, predictable business is the way to go. However, there is a little part of my brain that loves to do its own thing and struggles with that. And yeah, so it's a balancing process of getting the things that we know we need in the business, to meet our legal requirements, ethical requirements, all the compliance that has to be done. And where do we fit that spontaneity and just the things that pop up all the time? It can be helpful. What I like to think of it, it's about being good enough. It's a bit like being a mum. We have this ideal way of motherhood and the family and looking after our kids and nutrition, and the list goes on and on and on. However, then we have the very much day-to-day reality of life. So it's a good enough approach, and being good enough in the business is how I like to think of it. Okay. It's about finding what works for you. Now, I love my Trello boards and my Google Drive and Sheets and being able to go in there and pick up the threads. Okay, that's what I was doing. That's what I was up to. That's what I was thinking. And we want this system for organising information and our to-do lists, in our plans and objectives, and being able to go in and tick things off and look at our progress. However, there can be other things to make this maybe a bit more fun, to inject some variety in there that meet that part of your brain that needs something a little bit different. It reminds me of a client I had recently when we were looking at the problem, and all the parents out there can relate to this, of what to do with the toy sprawl. When kids can't put their toys away. And we delved into this problem, what was the problem here? And it turns out the problem was a tripping hazard. So people had actually tripped over the toys. And there had been certain strategies that had been tried, it's the strategy of, let's try this time and pack all the toys up and we'll do it together. Now, the problem with that, because family life, there's different afternoons, had different schedules, different times people got home. So having a consistent time was quite tricky. They'd also tried things like different boxes for different toys to make it easier to tidy up. They'd also tried the rules of, put this away first and then that. However, the lovely problem we have with open creative play is it can be ongoing. And we add to things. So we want to play with this, but we want to add this bit and that bit. And then we want to circle back to what we started with. And all that creativity and growth and cognitive development that come with that. We don't want to hamper that. So the solution that was ended up that's going to be tried, and I don't know if it's going to work 100% yet because we do a lot of experimenting in sessions and give things a go, was to mark the space out visually where the tripping hazard regularly occurs. So the toys cannot go into this particular space. So we created a visual spatial cue around that. So the problem wasn't that the toys weren't being put away. The problem was there was a tripping hazard. It was a safety concern. Something needed to be done about it. And just as a side note, this is why I love what I do, working with parents, because, you know, we do so much work on problem solving, which is amazing. But similar with all your thoughts and ideas and your to-do list and your organisational challenges, what paper, notepads, Trello, spreadsheets, they're all fantastic, but they're never ending. You can add on to them until the cows come home. You can go and buy another logbook. You can set up another Trello sheet. They are never ending. So my tip or my tool for the day is a whiteboard. You're going along it. Not just any whiteboard. It's a teeny tiny whiteboard. We're containing the space. We're containing the to-do list. One of the ways to set boundaries and transition points around your day is to, write down what needs to be done. We know that. We've probably got, once again, a list on paper that needs to be done or on the computer. How about trying the teeny tiny whiteboard? Now, I'm going to show it to you. This is my teeny tiny whiteboard. And what I do is write something down, and then when I've done it, I can rub it off. Okay? So I can't just keep adding and adding and adding. I have to actually remove some things from there. And when I look at something and think about whether it stays there, is it something I can action today? Is it something I can't action? Then it might come off the whiteboard and actually go into one of my never-ending lists. But what I'm finding at the moment is I'll put a note next to it, what I've done or what needs to be done. But being able just to go, yep, that's it, and wipe it off. It feels pretty good. And it's contained. So it's not a replacement, but it's an adjunct. It's a tool that you can use. So at the end of the week last week, I wrote down what was outstanding on the whiteboard. So I did that mental dump. And then when this morning, I was able to go, quickly done that. Felt pretty good, which is why I wanted to share it with you. I hope you found this useful. If you did, fantastic. Maybe you're already using a whiteboard. Maybe you've got an even better tip that works for you, because that's what it's about. Self-care, self-responsibility, looking after yourself and your business. It's finding what works for you. All right. I look forward to sharing the next tool tip with you very, very shortly. Okay. Once again, Kim Ross, self-care advocate for micro business owners, and thanks for joining.